hello.
Hi, it's Justin and Bethany and Kita. We wanted to just give a little update. We thought the biggest thing that we were worrying about was the coronavirus. But then last week in Utah, we had an earthquake. It was the 5.7 earthquake.
Yeah, maybe some of you heard of it, maybe you didn't, but it seemed like here in Utah, the day that, last Monday was kind of when everything was kicking off, right? Most businesses started letting people work from home, and people were still getting used to that. And so it felt like just as we were getting settled, then there was this earthquake. It kind of just disrupted everything. So we saw a ton of memes out there that were like, response to COVID-19, stay in your house, don't socialize. Response to the earthquake, go hug your neighbors, go check on them. And that was kind of a funny side of it. Of course, I don't know how you guys are, but I deal with stress through humor. I don't know, do you do that?
Yes,
I
definitely.
think more so now than you used to.
Right.
It used to be Bethany was like super serious, and so I would be like stressful moment and I'd say something, she'd just be not very happy with me. But now, yeah, I think you do.
Now I think you have to laugh at things or you'll just be so angry that you'll pop.
So we didn't really want to, make this all about people quarantining or social distancing or anything like that, or even about the earthquake, but we did just want to give you a quick update. Bethany's still working hard on not old content, it's new to you guys, but it's things that we did. But with everything going on, it's making our lives harder. So I think Bethany mentioned in our last video, we had to cancel a trip. We're probably gonna have to cancel another one coming up here.
I'm hoping not.
We may even have to cancel all of our Christmas travel. I was thinking about that the other day. Who knows?
Yeah,
I'm
so unknown.
I'm of the belief that there is no way this is going to be done in the next 8 months. Well, and to a lot of people, our earthquake, it was a 5.7, like Bethany said. It's not that big of an earthquake. I think I've been through 5s in San Francisco, and everyone, goes about their day. But in Utah, from the time that we were little, all we do is earthquake drills. Like, they have fire drills, sure, but fire drills are like annoyances, whereas earthquake drills are scary, and they ingrain it in us that because we live right on a fault line, it's gonna come one day and it's probably gonna destroy all of Salt Lake City. And if you've ever watched the Super Volcano documentary, they believe that when our fault line cracks, that's when the Yellowstone super volcano will erupt. And so to us, this is like 5.7. It might as well have been 10 because it's what everyone's been preparing for. And so it was kind of unnerving. But Bethany wanted us to kind of talk about what transpired throughout the day. And so I'll just say, Bethany had just left. She had come home the night before from work, which we were grateful for. And then she got up the next morning and was heading back into the hospital. And she just texted me that she had gotten to the hospital. I was contemplating whether I was going to go into my office, and I had walked down our stairs. Our bedroom's on the second level of our house, and so I had walked down the stairs, and for some reason my dogs wouldn't come down the stairs. I thought that was really odd. And by the time I got downstairs, I could hear what I thought was a freight train. We live not too far from Union Pacific freight rail, and every now and then it will shake our house. Actually, every morning it shakes our house. Thank you, Union Pacific.
Get used to it.
And so I thought that that's what it was. And then I looked out the window and I could see that the lawn was waving. There were waves in the lawn. I realized that this was much more than the railway. And so I started running back up the stairs. And by the time I reached the top of the stairs, the waves kind of had turned into this erratic shaking, and I could see our chandeliers and all of our fans were swinging and hitting the ceiling and hitting the walls. And I could see the TV in our bedroom that's mounted on the wall shaking. Stuff started falling off of our bedside tables. Kita, this little anxiety-ridden dog,
She has so much anxiety.
was running in circles in our bedroom and just moaning at the top of her lungs. And so by the time it had stopped, or by when it was getting a little bit better, I had timed it. We were about a minute, and I yelled to Olivia. Her bedroom is down the hall from ours, and just this panicked voice came back, and I said, "Are you okay?" She said, "Yes." And I was trying to call Bethany at that point, and which I know I'm not supposed to do. I'm supposed to text, but I was calling her. I told Olivia to get dressed and come downstairs. Bethany wasn't answering. I called her, I believe, 4 times.
Which it did not come through.
She's defending herself to our YouTube channel. I ran all the way to the basement where Abby is, so that's down 2 stories. And I said to Abby, "Did you feel that?" And she was sound asleep, and she was like, "Yes." And I said, "That was an earthquake. You need to get dressed and come upstairs." And she was so pissed off. Like, "Why are you waking me up?" And this is after the night before we had this long conversation about just because school is out because of the coronavirus doesn't make this a vacation. You still have to get up. So when I went down and woke her up and she was so mad, I was like, "We just talked about this." Anyway, so then we came upstairs and I couldn't get in touch with Bethany, so I contacted my mom, and my mom was really nervous. I think she was the only one awake at her house. I could just hear the fear in her voice, and I could hear the aftershocks. She lives closer to the epicenter, so I could hear the aftershocks in the background. And I stayed on the phone with her for a little while, and then finally you called me, right? You called me back?
You called
no.
me.
Finally got off the phone and called Bethany, and she answered, and the first thing she said is, "We just had an earthquake." I wanted to say, no.
That's my saying.
I know it is. We kind of just said, "Hey, are you okay?" "Yeah." "You okay?" I said, "Go check on your patients. We'll take care of everything here," right? Just said I got the girls up.
Yeah, I just said, "What were the girls doing? Are they okay?" And
they were asleep and pissed off.
Yeah, he just told me basically that they were fine, that he made them get up, and he was having them just pack a day bag just in case, because we just didn't know what was going to happen the rest of the day.
Yeah, and we had a ton of aftershocks. And those people that have been through earthquakes know you get a lot of aftershocks, but we had one in the afternoon, and it was big enough that both Abby and Olivia were awake and felt it, and both of them panicked. It was funny, we kind of asked them about this, and it was funny to hear, like, Abby refused to be on camera to talk about this because she's so paranoid about it. And Olivia, when we asked her to recount her story, she said, "When that big aftershock hit, all I could do is laugh at Abby because she was in such a panic." And I thought, I remember looking at you and you didn't seem to be laughing at the time. So yeah, tell us about the hospital.
Yeah. So I had just gotten into work, was just like settling, just put my lunch in the fridge, and was in the middle of a open room, and we have an OR right above us that sometimes the beds, or when they take oxygen over the top of us, it rumbles a little bit. So initially, like, everybody in our office thought that's what it was that, a bed's just being taken into the OR or oxygen, but it kept going. And so it was like, that's not what this is. And we could kind of feel the building moving back and forth a little bit. And we all looked at each other and said, "We should get in a doorway." And by the end of us saying that, it was over. So it had taken us so long to decide what in the world was going on that we all just stood there and stared at each other. Then I went out of my office, went and checked on a few different rooms in our newborn ICU just to make sure everybody was okay. My biggest fear was that our electricity would not be on, but it was. We kept all our electricity. We do have backup electricity, but it takes a second to flip on. So anybody that's attached to a ventilator, we need to make sure that they're getting what they need until we can get that backup generator to flip on. But thank goodness that wasn't an issue. I talked to you, you had called, and so, which was good. That made me, because I kind of felt like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm here at work, I need to make sure that everybody's okay, but like I also am worried about my family. So you had called and it was like, okay, good, they're okay, I don't have to worry about them. And I do remember saying to you, you're not going to work, right? Yeah. And you were like, no, I'll stay here. So then it was like, okay, good. Like, you guys are fine at home. My mom called me as well, which was a quick conversation, and then I just texted my brother real quick. I asked my mom, I said, have you talked to my brother? And she's like, no, I'm gonna call him right after this. And then I knew you were talking to your family, so I didn't worry about as much about your family, except for I text your mom. And my brother called me back.
I just think everyone's prepared so much for this big one to hit that when we finally had one that shook for a long time and actually caused damage to infrastructure in Utah, that it was like, okay, this is real. And for a day, I think everyone kind of put social distancing and COVID-19 in the back of their minds because that wasn't the emergent issue. And
right, it was, let's make sure everybody's okay, let's take care of everybody.
And that made Thursday, like even Thursday we were feeling aftershocks, but it made Thursday kind of hard to know what to focus on. It was like, wait, are we social distancing or are we checking on our neighbors?
Right.
Is another one gonna hit? It was very odd.
We still were, well, we even had an aftershock this morning and it's Monday. We kind of wanted to do a recap of the earthquake. We kind of wanted our girls to be involved. They didn't want to be, and that's okay. We made them talk about it to us. It was just crazy because I think there was already high anxiety about the coronavirus and this big change. Change is hard. And so all of a sudden, here's something else to like sidetrack you. And it's been real hard to get back to school because there's just all this other side crap going on.
It was just changed perspectives.
Right. In a way, the coronavirus has kind of helped because we've all been able to be home. Besides, I have had to go to work, but at least Justin's...
I've had to go in, but
right,
I've been able to stay home.
He's been able, since the earthquake, really to... Someone's been here with the girls, and we haven't had to send them off to school or whatever. So that's been a bonus.
So yeah, this is like a huge downer video, which is not our normal, and we promise we won't continue to do this. We wanted to, like Bethany said, kind of recap what happened. We know a lot of people that watch our stuff don't live in Utah, and I know that some have asked, and so we normally only do a video a week, so we wanted to make sure that we gave an update, and the next thing you saw from us wasn't just a Disney tag or something. We also wanted to say, hey, stick around. We're gonna be producing a lot of more content. We have to reinvent what we do because just like all of you, we're stuck at home and we're unable to travel like we had intended. Stick around because we've got some good stuff coming, hopefully. I don't even know what it is. I don't know why I made that promise. Okay. I'm actually really surprised at some of the content that a lot of the people that you have connected with are producing. Jen and Joe. So we did a Disney food tag and tagged them. Everyone should go see their video. They, one, are hilarious. Two, they really loved their recipe, and maybe some of you will too. That was something they did, super creative and super entertaining, and they didn't have to leave their house to do it. So I was just saying, you should really definitely check out content that people are, well, under restriction, I guess is what I'll say. So stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you on Friday with something a little more fun.